If I can, there we go. Okay. So like you heard, we are covering skincare today. So I'll be introducing the skin with some physiology, the appendages, as well as covering some skin types and skincare, and then moving on to sun care. So I'd like to start off with some interesting facts, just to show you how interesting the skin really is. I mean, if you look at 2.5 square centimeters of your skin, there is 4.6 meters of blood vessels, nerves, 650 sweat glands, 100 oil glands, 1,500 sensory glands, and millions of cells that are being replaced every 35 to 45 days. So good skin is very important, very specifically also for our psychological well-being. It's the basis of our self-image, our self-esteem, our self-confidence, and this all affects our interpersonal relationships as well as sexual attraction. But what is a good skin? Good skin is considered unblemished and uniform in color. Good skin is also firm, it's smooth, as well as resilient. But it's important to note that when we speak about skin, we're not just speaking about the face, we are speaking about the whole body, because the whole body will respond to proper treatment. The skin has several functions, apart from just making us look pretty. It protects and maintains our body, prevents water loss, it synthesizes vitamin D, secretes sebum and perspiration, also regulating body temperature. But important to note that it also absorbs substances, good and bad, and this is important for our skincare products that we are formulating. So the skin is also the largest organ of the human body. It's approximately 16% of the total body mass, and it covers the entire surface area. And the thickness varies 0.06 millimeters up to 2 millimeters. So the thinnest on the lips and the thickest on the soles of the feet. The skin has several requirements. It needs a lot of nourishment like amino acids, vitamins, trace elements, essential fatty acids, and all of this is delivered to the skin via the blood vessels that's located in the dermis. And the moisture and the oil to hydrate the skin and keep it soft and supple all originates from here as well. So when we talk about the skin, we also talk about the acid mantle, and this is a fine layer that covers the surface of the skin. It's slightly acidic, the acidity helping it to act as a barrier to bacteria and viruses because of its slight antiseptic properties. And if we look at the skin, you can see the different layers on the left-hand side. So you've got the top area, which is your epidermis, the middle area, that's the dermis, and we refer to the area just below it as the hypodermis. And if you look at this, you'll see that most of your appendages and your sebaceous glands, nerves, all of those are located in the dermis area. So like I said, basically the dermis and the epidermis. With the dermis is where your strength, elasticity is coming from due to the collagen and elastin fibers. The hypodermis below the dermis is the subcutaneous layer, and it's mainly made up of adipose tissue. So like I said before, the function is for protection. It has this waterproof barrier that's protecting us from desiccation by sealing in moisture, and it also protects us from external invasion. The skin has very much a protective function also against UV light due to the melanin that's produced in the epidermis. And if we look at the structure of the epidermis, you can see in the picture on the right-hand side, it's basically a schematic. And you'll see the basal cell at the bottom. And it's the basal cell layer is the only cell layer where division actually takes place. And this is because the epidermis doesn't actually have blood flow in itself, and it's relying on the nutrients from the blood flow in the dermis. So the basal cell layer is the cell layer where it grows, and the skin grows upwards. And as the cells move towards the surface of the skin, they actually start to degrade. They lose their shape, they lose the organelles inside, and they eventually end up in the top as a keratinocyte, where it is forming the top layer where it prevents water loss from the skin. And this process is called keratinization. That is because there's the keratin that is formed through this entire process. And if we look at the epidermis, you can see it's not like our previous slide where it's this basic straight layer. The epidermis actually is much more complicated than that.